Welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. And I am your host, Conrad Cushman, and we are here to preview and predict SummerSlam 2018. So welcome everybody. If this is your first time joining us, do me a favor, make sure you hit the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for more content. And also, if you are in the chat box, let me know you're in there. Make some noise. I'll be checking on the chat box while we're doing all of this, and I will mention some of your comments if you're in there. Let's talk about some other things real quick. First and foremost, rest in peace to Jim the Anvil Neidhart. My condolences go out to the entire Hart family, Neidhart family. Real sad to see him go. Hart Foundation, one of the best tag teams in the 80s. Maybe one of the best tag teams ever. Perfect technical wrestling, power. They were just an all-around great tag team. So I feel really bad that Jim Neidhart is no longer with us, and it just shows that you have to value these guys, man. You never know when their time is going to come, and I appreciate all the contributions that he and his family have made to the wrestling business. Also, WWE 2K19 has finally revealed Daniel Bryan Showcase Mode is back in the game. So 2K Showcase Mode is returned. How I feel about it is kind of indifferent. I'll elaborate more on that later, but I did want to make sure all the video game fans knew about that, because I know that the video game often plays a big part into the SummerSlam weekend and all the festivities that will be happening in New York City. But let's not wait any longer, and let's start talking about some SummerSlam. Now, first and foremost, this show is going to be extremely long, like painfully long, for no reason, because WWE thinks that the longer the show is, the better it is, and I 110% disagree with that. Alright, so the first match that we have here to talk about will be the Raw Tag Team title match that was just made last night. We are going to have the current champions, the B Team, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, versus the Revival. I'm not sure what's going on with Matt Hardy right now. I've been hearing that Matt Hardy is injured at the moment, and I don't know if he's dealing with just like nagging injuries and he needs to go for some therapy for him. I'm not sure what's true with it. It's sad to not see them with the tag titles and that they had them taken off of them that quickly. But what happened to the B Team's theme? Like, they had an excellent theme beforehand, and I thought it was a great song, sounded really good, and then they took it off of them. And I don't know if they're waiting to use that for a better superstar, because to me that sounded like a top caliber superstar theme. And now the B Team has some Spirit Squad sounding crappy music, which it makes no sense why they've added that in. But they'll be taking on the Revival, and I feel that the Revival definitely needs to be elevated, I guess we'll say. So this is a tough match to decide here. The B Team have been doing a good job, and I can see this match going either way. But for the purpose of these predictions, I think it's time for the Revival to win the tag team title. So I will predict that we get new tag team champs with the Revival going forward. Our next pre-show match is for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. We will have the champion Cedric Alexander defend his title against Drew Gulak. And alright, Cedric Alexander got in trouble recently for some past tweets and everything else. So it makes it seem like, yeah, it's easy to pick him out and say that he's going to lose the belt here. I just don't think you have Cedric Alexander lose it to Drew Gulak here, though. But once again, Drew Gulak has put in the work. This is one of those matches that I went back and forth on, and it's not easy to predict a winner for this one, because you got so many talented wrestlers on that brand waiting in the wings. You got Buddy Murphy, Hideo Itami, Mustafa Ali, and these guys could all easily be Cruiserweight champion. The question is, whose time is it, though, and who's going to defeat Cedric Alexander? And I feel it's got to be Drew Gulak or Mustafa Ali. And I know Cedric Alexander losing the belt seems like the easy thing to predict here, but I'm going to say Cedric Alexander retains the title, and he will defeat Drew Gulak, and there will be another match down the line, maybe a multi-man match later on where Cedric perhaps could lose the championship. Next up, we have the mixed tag match. The mixed tag match will have Rusev and Lana versus Almas and Vega. Anyone else notice how Lana's accent's been disappearing? I don't really care, but just come up with a reason for it if it's going to disappear. I would just have them turn faces and just say that Lana learned how to speak better English. She went to a voice coach and she wanted to sing or show off some of her other talents that she already has. I think that's something that would be pretty cool. You also have Andrade, Cien Almas, and Zelina Vega in this. I'm sorry, Zelina Vega. I said Selena. Wake up. So, Zelina Vega and Cien Almas here. I think that it's pretty easy to see that Almas and Vega are going to win this match. But I think they're going to win with an error once again from Aiden English. They're doing this storyline, and I don't know if English is going to side with Almas and Vega or if they're going to have Aiden English kind of branch out on his own from this. But I think that Rusev, English, and Lana had steam still. Like, I don't know why they feel the need to just take them down right away when they were just building up steam as a trio. But whatever. That's WWE's prerogative. But maybe Almas needs it more, they think. I'm not sure. But Almas and Vega will win. And that's it for the pre-show. And I think that's going to start at 5 o'clock Eastern time. Why does this show need to be this long, guys? I have no idea. I don't agree with it at all. Excuse me. Quality H2O there. Alright. So we get to the main card. And we're on match 4. We have Braun Strowman defending his Money in the Bank briefcase against Kevin Owens. They've had Kevin Owens look like a complete joke since this feud has started with Braun Strowman. And I don't see Kevin Owens as a joke or someone who is that cowardly to the point to where he runs away from him every time. I always think of Kevin Owens as being a smart heel, and he's very conniving, and he sets people up into traps. Now, I know a lot of people are predicting that Kevin Owens could win the briefcase here and cash it in later in the night. I don't see that happening. I see Braun Strowman winning this match dominantly, and he retains, because that's not what people are thinking. And I just think Braun Strowman's going to win. There's no reason to take the briefcase off of him, and we can get into that later on as to why. Next, we get into a match that should be on the pre-show. Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin. Now look, I like Finn Balor just as much as the next guy, but I'm sick of smiling Finn. Finn, there's nothing to smile about. You've been losing matches lately. I want to see angry Finn Balor. And I also, where's the Demon been? Like, he hasn't brought out the Demon for any of these feuds. If you're losing that much, bro, maybe you should bring him out and change up his style in the ring and do some different moves with him. I don't know. I just want to see Finn Balor do something different at this point. Baron Corbin has changed up his look, and yeah, I don't know about that. He's growing on me in the Constable gimmick, but it's still tough. I don't know. I just want to see more from Corbin than what he's doing. And I thought that he had a decent gimmick before when he had the Money in the Bank briefcase and they let Jinder Mahal beat him. Certain things that we'll talk about on this will just make me angry. So I got Finn Balor winning this match. Let's move on to the next one here. We get to the SmackDown Live Women's Championship match. It'll have your current champion Carmella versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. Now, sidebar, does anyone else think that Carmella should use that moonwalk DDT as a finisher? Big shout out to Casey Briggs for saying that in the group when I posted that a couple weeks back. I think that would be an excellent finisher for Carmella. And I don't hate Carmella as much as most people do. I think she has some improving to do, always, but who doesn't? And as champion, I'm tired of seeing her as champion. But this story has taken a different turn, in my opinion. So, when it was Becky Lynch one-on-one, I would have put money down. This would have been my guarantee prediction that Becky Lynch would be the new SmackDown Live Women's Champion. But now that Charlotte's in the mix, I don't know. Charlotte may steal the thunder here, and Charlotte could become your new SmackDown Live Women's Champion. And with the looks that they've been having Becky Lynch give, you never know. This is going to be tough. This is really tough. I'm going to say it. I predicted Charlotte Flair to win this match. I don't know why. I can't explain why. This is another match I have a star next to because I had a hard time deciphering between Becky and Charlotte and who's going to win and how the story is going to play out. So for right now, I think that that's going to be the match going into WWE Evolution with Becky and Charlotte going at it for the women's title. But we'll see. But Charlotte's my prediction to win the SmackDown Live Women's title. Now, the next match is a match that I am highly invested in. And I know this is a match that some of the people in the Everything Pro Wrestling group are going to be very interested in. If you guys are interested in any of those groups, all of that will be down in the description box along with the match card and everything else. Shout out to whoever just joined watching the live stream. Greatly appreciate it. We are on match number 7 right now. I'm kind of going through a lot of these matches, just talking about them. So if you have any thoughts, but we are talking about the man who was announced today to be in the WWE 2K19 Showcase mode, Daniel Bryan. And his opponent will be The Miz. And The Miz has been doing a good job. Lots of promotion for his Miz and Mrs. show. Maurice, top quality right there, my friend. But it looks like the show's doing very well, so I'm happy for The Miz. And these are two talented wrestlers coming from two completely different backgrounds that I think any wrestling fan should be able to relate to in some way, shape, or form. I'm a Daniel Bryan guy, so I definitely understand it, and that's probably based on just who I am as a wrestling fan, and he was trained by William Regal, Shawn Michaels, and so many other legends that have given him help. And The Miz is your typical WWE guy. He does all the safe moves, but he knows how to get the heat on the microphone. And Miz is very good at his job. Don't get me wrong. Now, with this match, it's been built up ever since. You can go all the way back to Daniel Bryan coming back into the WWE when they had NXT and The Miz was his pro and Daniel Bryan was the rookie, which will probably be played out in that 2K Showcase mode. Man, this is going to be such a good feud. Miz has always basically yelled at Daniel Bryan for putting him down, acting like he's better than him, and vice versa. They feel the same way about each other. I don't know, man. They feuded over the U.S. title, these guys. They feuded in NXT. It's just a feud that never ends. And it goes back to when Daniel Bryan became the GM and they had Talking Smack on the WWE Network. And they had that awesome segment where The Miz let loose when he was the Intercontinental Champion and just let Daniel Bryan have it. Basically telling him that he can't wrestle anymore. And he just gave him the business. And that brought Miz back up to a popular status with a lot of the wrestling fans. Sidebar, WWE, please bring back Talking Smack. Please? Anyway, Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. I predict this match to be an excellent match. And I know there's a lot of rumors and speculation about, did Daniel Bryan sign a new WWE contract? I'm throwing all that out the window right now. I expect to see a good match. And I know there's going to be some funny stuff in this match. But I am predicting The Miz to defeat Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam. It just seems logical if Bryan isn't or hasn't re-signed, you put Miz over for now until you find out what Bryan's actually doing, because supposedly his contract expires at the end of August, maybe September 1st. I'm not sure of the exact date, but I think Daniel Bryan will re-sign with WWE as long as they make the right deal with him and they give him whatever he wants, whether it's schedule, creative control, choice of opponents, whatever. And I think they should work with him because Daniel Bryan's one of your more popular superstars, and people love the guy. So Miz is my prediction to win that one. The SmackDown Live Tag Team titles. I know a lot of people are sick of the Bludgeon Brothers and the New Day, and they feel like the tag division on both brands is very dry. But this is the match that we have. And I felt the New Day and the Bar killed it last week on SmackDown. And I know this is probably, what is it, almost 2 hours before SmackDown actually happens. But this was an excellent match with the Bar and New Day. If you did not get to see it, check it out. And check out New Day's interview segment beforehand. Kofi Kingston was gold in that. So, the Bludgeon Brothers versus the New Day. Is it time for New Day to win back the tag team titles? I don't know what they want to do with this tag division right now. So, I'm going off the assumption right now of they're going to keep the titles on the Bludgeon Brothers. And that's my official prediction. What's going on? Whoever else just joined the live chat. We are talking about the SmackDown Live Tag Team title match with the Bludgeon Brothers versus the New Day. If you guys are listening right now, and if you can get to your phone, type in the chat, who do you guys want to... What match is got you the most excited for SummerSlam right now? It could be anything, even if we haven't talked about it yet. Write it down below in there. I can see everything you guys are writing. Appreciate it. So, the Bludgeon Brothers are going to win, and the reason I have for that is... why have them lose the belts at this point? New Day getting another title reign, what does that accomplish? I think the Bludgeon Brothers need to hold on to these tag team titles for now, and you decide what team you want to actually have win them. That's just for me. I think you keep the Bludgeon Brothers looking strong right now. All right, John Mack, I see you. Or I'm sorry if it's Mac or Mick, but John Mick says he's excited to see Bliss and Ronda right now. He's not too sure. Let me know if there's any other ones. But the next match we're going to get into, which I have as match number 9, it's the WWE title match. We are going to have the phenomenal one, AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. This is the match that I feel should be closing the show. Just my opinion. But I moved it up a little bit ahead so that it doesn't get lost in the shuffle towards the bottom and it gets a bad reaction as well. Now, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, if you have not seen any of their stuff from TNA, you got to check it out. Especially that Unbreakable 2005 match. What a match. It's really good. Now, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe have a history that goes all the way back to Ring of Honor. They've known each other for years, and I think these guys could put on a heck of a match. The problem is now that you always want to pump your brakes with your expectations for an AJ Styles match, and that's because of what they did with Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles. I felt like they were handcuffed, they were told not to do too much, and that's just my personal belief, but that's how I feel about it. Now, this is so hard too, because originally coming into this, I had a thought process for who was going to win and why, and I completely changed it when I was looking over my notes yesterday. I have predicted a new WWE champion in Samoa Joe, and one side of me says that's what I want to have happen because Joe deserves it, because he's lost to too many other people and had too many other championship opportunities. It's time for Joe to seize the moment. At the same time, though, AJ Styles is going to be on the cover of WWE 2K19. How cool would it be to have the WWE champion walking around with the belt, carrying the game? It's good for promotion, good for marketing. Hey, what's going on, Mr. Floodwater? How are you, sir? And Flood says he hopes that AJ Styles retains his championship. Interesting thoughts. Now, AJ winning would make sense. I'm going to go with Samoa Joe still. You have to. Samoa Joe, I just feel, has earned this. He has been one of the best people on the microphone in the company. He's put on good matches. He just has to make sure he stays healthy. He can't get injured anymore because he's been out, I think, 2 times already since he's been on the main roster. So, We get to the 10th match, which I know Mr. Floodwater123 is going to enjoy. It is the U.S. title match. It will have Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy. Like I've been saying for months, I've enjoyed Shinsuke Nakamura as a heel. And this is a match that you could see go either way. You have Shinsuke Nakamura on one side, and on the other side you have Jeff Hardy. And I'm surprised that this was not made a triple threat match, and it would not surprise me if tonight they make it a triple threat match, because Randy Orton is ingrained into this feud. And I feel like he's going to be a part of this match some way, somehow. Now, could Jeff Hardy win the belt back and feud with Randy Orton over it? Maybe. But I don't see the point taking it off Shinsuke Nakamura. As I said before with the AJ Styles match, I think Nakamura did his best, played his role, and didn't complain. So this is kind of the consolation prize for Shinsuke Nakamura, and I think he needs it. Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton do not need a championship belt for a successful feud. So I'd like to see Orton and Hardy go off after this and feud with each other, but I'm predicting Shinsuke Nakamura to retain the United States Championship. And our next match, we have Dolph Ziggler with Drew McIntyre defending the Intercontinental Championship in a singles match versus Seth Rollins with the returning lunatic fringe, Dean Ambrose. Sounds like a pretty good match. Or if obvious if he's not added tonight. I agree, Flood, with your thoughts there on the U.S. title match. So, where are we here? The IC title match. I don't like how this is booked, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. They just had an Iron Man match, and they've been stretching this feud out. Why in the blue hell would you just have a regular singles match now at SummerSlam? Why didn't you do a ladder match or something else? I don't know. I just felt like they should have did a stipulation if they were going to do this. So we have Drew McIntyre in Dolph Ziggler's corner, and we have Dean Ambrose in Seth Rollins' corner. Should make things very interesting, but there's only one way I see this going down. Dolph Ziggler will retain the Intercontinental Championship because of Dean Ambrose. I feel Dean Ambrose is going to turn on Seth Rollins. And maybe that seems like the easy thing to do. Maybe they're just going to keep them a tag team and have them go back in the tag division to spice things up. Fine. Cool with me. Have them face off with the Revival if things plan out that way. But I think there's more money in Dean Ambrose being a heel. He needs it for his character. He came back with a different look. He looked like he hit the gym. Dean Ambrose was... He was muscular. I give him that. He looked completely different in my opinion. He looked like he did 6 months in jail. He looked like he was doing push-ups. The man looks different, and I think he wants to be in that heel spot. I think Dean Ambrose will excel as a heel. And shout out to whoever joined us. We are talking Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler Intercontinental title match right now for SummerSlam. Dean Ambrose will excel in a heel role, in my honest opinion. So, I think this is the moment where you do it, man. You don't want to waste time like you did with Seth Rollins, making him come back as a heel, and you didn't turn him babyface, and fans wanted to cheer him, and then it took so long for him to get it back, and then once he started doing the burn it down stuff, the people finally got behind him again. It was a slow burn, no pun intended, but it finally happened. So... I say you have Rollins and Ambrose turn on each other. They're both too talented to stay in a tag team. Next, the Raw Women's Championship. We are going to have Alexa Bliss, who is the champion, versus Rowdy Ronda Rousey. I don't know, guys. I'm going to wait a second here. I'm going to kick it over to the chat. Who do you guys believe is going to walk out as champion in this match? I know that John, who was in the chat before, said that this was his match. So I'm curious to hear what he thinks about this match before we talk about it. And I'm going to get a little drink of water here. So this, I don't, man. There's some bad stuff about the women's division, but there's also some good to it. It's kind of like the double-edged sword a little bit here. We got Alexa Bliss, who yesterday I questioned if she was the Roman Reigns of the women's division. I was surprised she's been a 5-time women's champion already, but maybe that's just the nature of everything with the WWE. I know some people really dislike Alexa Bliss, and I know some people really love Alexa Bliss. I'm in the middle about her. She's decent in the ring, but Ronda Rousey is getting a championship match, and should she come in there and beat Alexa Bliss is the question. I don't know. And John said, I think Twisted Bliss is incredible. And Flood says Rousey needs to win, and I think this will help her keep her momentum going, I think is what he wanted to put there. I stand with you, Flood. I have Ronda Rousey winning this match. I think there's going to be a lot of gimmicks in here. I think you're going to see Alicia Fox come out there, Mickie James, and you're going to see Bliss try and do some underhanded tactics, but all of it's not going to be enough because Ronda Rousey and her 4 horsewomen, I think, are going to show up to help her even potentially to do something here. And I predict Ronda Rousey walks out as your new WWE Raw Women's Champion. And with that being said, guys, we get to the match that I know everybody wants to hear. And it's the main event for the Universal Championship. Now, this sounded a lot better yesterday before they had the segment with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. I was really into it until Paul Heyman turned to allow Brock Lesnar to beat down on Roman Reigns. And they made Roman Reigns kind of look like a fool a little bit. But to each of their own. Now, rumor has it that there's some big surprise that's going to happen in this. Okay. We'll see what happens with it. But I did have a question from my friend, Mr. Floodwater. Now, normally I put this previews and stuff on my podcast, but since SummerSlam is a big show, I decided to put it here on YouTube. But let me just get to the question that Flood asked here.
Yo, Conrad, aka Almas 07, this is Kerry and Flood, aka Floodwater123. I just wanted to get your thoughts on who you think is going to win at SummerSlam between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and why you think that this winner is going to be and why it should be. By the way, a big supporter of your show, EPW.
Thank you, Mr. Flood. I appreciate that. Flood is a good person, and I greatly appreciate him always checking out the content. He's been subscribed since day one and always supported the work that I do. And for that, I'm very thankful. And thank you to John and anyone else who has checked out the content today. Now, let's get into this Universal title match. And I want to hear from you guys also in the chat real quick about this, because this is basically the match that is going to sell the show, basically. I have a bad feeling that everyone's going to crap on this match because it's Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar again. This did not work at WrestleMania. It didn't really work at the Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. I don't think this is going to work again. Now, this Universal title match is very difficult. I like the tease that they had with Paul Heyman, who was with Lesnar, and they swerved the first week with him grabbing Heyman by the face. He was going to turn on him. Then Paul Heyman comes out and basically talks about Alpha and Sika with... Oh, John says he might not watch the match. That's... WWE has to know that this stuff's an option. John, if I can sway you into watching the match a little bit, there is supposed to be some type of big surprise that they've been working on for this to end. And is that true? I don't know. But maybe that's some hope to watch it. But Paul Heyman basically came out and gave all of this boo-hoo crap to Roman, and Roman looked confused. And if they would have ended the segment there with Heyman handing him that letter saying, look, read the letter or whatever, the document, and just think about it and give me your answer at SummerSlam. And instead they had Heyman do a turn and Lesnar came out, and that was the second swerve. I think it's time for Brock Lesnar to lose the championship. The question is Roman Reigns the guy to do it? I think most people are going to say the answer is no. I happen to think Roman Reigns isn't as bad as most people think he is. But if I'm booking this and if I'm doing this, you're going to get my official prediction the exact same way. This match needs to be quick and to the point, just long enough. You have to time this perfectly to where it's like kind of quick, fast-hitting finishers, big moves, and setups, and then maybe even have them brawl around the ringside, and then they finally get in the ring to try to end it. And then right when everything looks like it's going to hell in a handbasket, you have Braun Strowman come out and steal Roman Reigns' moment by cashing in. And then Roman Reigns just looks like, what do I have to do? What have I done wrong? Whatever. And then you could go back to the Paul Heyman Roman Reigns, which is what I would have done, and had them align with each other, because it looks like Lesnar's going to go to UFC. Roman needs something to do. Roman turns heel on this, and Braun Strowman is the babyface on Monday Night Raw, and you have Braun Strowman be the top guy on Monday Night Raw. That's what I would do, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree, Flood. He says Lesnar needs to go away for now without the title. I can completely get that, and I agree. So, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, I am predicting that Braun Strowman cashes in and becomes your new Universal Champion. I think that's the only way the fans will stick around in the arena, and that's the only way the fans can leave home happy. Guys, I felt like this has gone on long enough. Normally, I don't like to make half-hour videos. I like to try to keep them short, sweet, and to the point for you. But this is my SummerSlam preview and predictions. I want to hear from you guys. Who do you think is going to win at SummerSlam? And what do you want to see happen at the show? I get it if you disagree with me. Leave your stuff down below and let me know what you think of the show. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave a like on the channel as well. And if you haven't, guys, check out the description box. I have a podcast. It's on many different platforms, including Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. I'm on 10 different platforms right now. If you want to hear my NXT Brooklyn preview and predictions, that will be going up tomorrow. I will talk about the 5 matches for that happening Saturday night. My review will be up late that day because of some prior engagements that I have on Saturday night, so I will not be able to check it out until I get home. So make sure you guys check it out, and I will try to review all of this in one big fashion after SummerSlam. Let me know what you guys think of the card, what you think of the show. I appreciate each and every one of you for checking out, especially John and Flood, who are talking in the chat. Appreciate you guys. We're out. Peace.